these rounds to have a fixed weight of 1 ounce and a purity of 99.9%, and they can be issued by different kinds of companies all over the world. And this is something to look out for if you're just starting out and looking around at what silver is a good buy for your first few times. If you're in the UK, then the Silver Britannia coin might be your preferred first choice. But you'll notice that Britannias were not made from 0.999 silver. They're minted using 0.958 silver. Now, this doesn't mean that you shouldn't get them, but it's something to consider when you're looking at where to spend your money. If you can buy a 0.999 silver coin at the same price, then obviously you would choose the other coin instead if your decision was based purely on the silver content. So be sure to spend the time to really look at what you're buying and how things are described by the sellers. The great difference between coins and bars is that in order to determine the value of a silver coin, apart from its physical value given by weight and pureness, there must also be a numismatic or collector's value of a coin. Age, rareness, provenance, and so on can determine the value of a silver coin just as much as its weight. So the market value can be higher than the physical factors, an advantage which can easily turn into a problem because there are fewer buyers, so it could be harder to sell and convert your collectible coin into money. Unless you are a coin expert or you're very knowledgeable about numismatics, it's much safer to avoid getting involved in any purchases where the seller is trying to convince you that anything significantly higher than the standard spot price and other silver coin price is a good idea. There are a lot of multi-level marketing programs springing up, and they're using silver coins as the product. But the thing is, their appeal is for people who sign others up to overpay in order to get their coins cheaper. So please don't get suckered into these things due to not knowing exactly what the situation is. And then there's jewelry. Although jewelry is a very traditional way to buy silver, it's not really considered in the investment manner to which we're referring because we're looking for reference to the spot price for our calculations, and jewelry doesn't align with that. And then there are certificates. Now, a certificate is a symbolic buy of silver without having to store the physical silver bar. The advantage clearly is that the buyer can purchase silver over larger distances without shipment of the silver bar. A certificate represents a certain amount of silver and its value depends on the actual silver value. Okay, there are other things that you can buy when you want to invest in silver, but these are the most well known and common, and they're more than enough to get you started. If you don't want to store the silver, you can buy it and sign a contract. This contract states how much silver you have, what the purity of the silver is, and other important factors. The problem is that the United States and other countries in the world don't necessarily have the physical silver to back those contracts. They don't have the actual metal. Although they are supposed to exchange those contracts for silver, which you should always be able to do because it's in fact it's your silver, they would not be able to provide you with the actual metal. What does this mean? It means that if the investor pressed to get the silver that he owns, they would have to go and buy this amount from other people that own the metal physically. Of course, when your customer is so pressured, so desperate to buy, the prices are going to go up. Now, let's just imagine this situation. Let's say that you've just bought a metric ton of silver. You have it somewhere stored in the bank or some other storage facility. You own it. It's not just a contract that you've signed, you were actually given the metal. Now, let's say that someone comes to you and says that they want to buy the silver from you. Now, if you know the reason that they want to buy it from you is that they're under pressure to fulfill a contract for the metal, then you'll be able to ask almost any price you want. That's why silver being at $15 to $17 an ounce right now is such an amazing investment and such a great opportunity. The United States government has had to stop minting some of its dollar coins because there's no silver to do it with. I don't have to tell you what this means to someone who has it. I don't have to tell you how it changes the situation for them. Now, the whole thing I described may sound strange to you and even a little shocking, but it's true. If you accept it and start investing in silver, you'll always be secure because there's a constantly reducing amount of silver in the earth and there's less silver above ground than is needed. Okay, now I want to talk you through some silver investment tips. The first thing to do is to take a look at the market and the spot price. Use kitcosilver.com or somewhere similar. Before you do anything else, you have to make sure that you know what's going on in the market. Now, this doesn't only apply to silver, it also applies to other things like online marketing, offline marketing, setting up a regular business, reselling anything. If you know what's going on in the market, you'll always stay on top of everything and you'll never overpay for your product. You want to find out who the reputable sellers are and find out who's good to work with and take some time to learn who you should avoid. Of course, research is something you can do for free online. Just go to Google and look up anyone you come across. Look up things that you want to know about silver investments and check out people, websites and YouTube channels that I point you to. You'll be presented with a lot of great results that will educate you in no time. It won't take long and it can really save you a lot of money. You can keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening with silver with the knowledge that you have experts to tap into online. Always do the right research before doing anything else. Sit down at the internet and spend a couple of hours online researching. Buy newspapers and read them thoroughly, or at least scan them to find information that's related to silver investments. Most importantly, find someone you can